Hey everyone, hi, it's Annette with ASCardDesign. Welcome back to another Wednesday Live. I want to welcome everyone joining the live stream tonight, or if you're watching the replay, thank you. I'm glad you're here. If you are here tonight, I would appreciate if anyone would just give me a little shout out that they can hear me okay, they can see everything okay. So just put that in the chat. That sounds good, all's good. Before we get started, I just want to mention, I got some feedback recently from a friend that was watching, not a personal friend, but a friend of the community, and I always welcome constructive feedback. And she was so kind to just let me know when I'm doing my videos if they could see a little bit more of what I'm doing and less of my desk, which was an easy fix for me, and I'm really glad she mentioned it to me. So I just zoomed in my camera a little bit on the tabletop. So thanks, Mike, for letting me know. And so you'll see that will be a little bit different, and to also make sure, and I am so bad at this, just to make sure that what I'm doing is in the shot. Like a lot of times, sometimes I do have to pull it down like out of screenshot so I can see right on top of it. If I don't do that, I'm going to be leaning way forward and you're just going to see the top of my head. So I'll try to be mindful of that and let you know when I'm getting it out of screenshot. But I do have to be better at looking at my monitor to make sure what I'm doing is on the in view. So I want to thank that viewer for pointing those couple things out. That just helps me make better content for you because I'm making these videos for you. So I appreciate the feedback. All right, let's go to the tabletop. And let me off the screen and get that out of the way already. Big fail. But anyway, I'm zoomed in so you can see most of my table and less of the desk. And I do want to mention again, I have a very small space. So if I do have to zoom out, just so be it. But let me get my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. We got a lot going on tonight. But we are going to be working with some foiling. And this foil is deco foil. And it's called Amber Watercolor. I've used this before, but I want to show you. It comes in this really nice storage tube. But this watercolor foil is so pretty. All right. And they come in different colors. There's like an emerald color. It might even be called emerald watercolor, but they're very thin sheets of foil that you need a laminator. I believe you need a laminator. I mean, that's what we're going to be doing tonight, to adhere them to your cardstock. And then, let me just get this aside for a second. So foil needs something to adhere to. It either needs toner or polyglaze, which you can get toner sheets of cardstock, polyglaze cardstock, or if you're using regular cardstock like I'm going to be doing tonight, you need to put something on it so this will melt into it once you run it through the laminator. So we're going to do that. I'm going to use just a regular sheet of cardstock and we're going to treat it so this will adhere to it. And then with the negative piece, I'll show you how it works on polyglaze. So it'll make sense more when we get there. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to bring in just a piece of cardstock, and I'm going to be using, I'm going to use this layering stencil, but I'm only going to use one piece of it, this sheet. And this is from GinaKDesigns, and it's called Sunflower Garden. Okay, I'm just going to use this piece. So I'm going to set the rest aside. And we're also going to use a product from Gina K called Fuse Foiling Gel. This is what we're going to put. We're going to smear it over the stencil onto the cardstock, and then it needs to dry. Drying time, I'm not sure. I did one ahead of time because it's ready, so it's ready to go. But I just wanted to show you how this works. So the other thing, you want to make sure when you're excuse me, when you're using these products, these gels, have some warm soapy water nearby because you'll want to put this stencil in it right away, and unless you have access to a sink, which I do not. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm just taking some washi tape and I just want to tape down my paper because this will get a little messy. And that way I can throw it away. I don't think I need to tape down the cardstock, but I do need to tape down the stencil. And I don't know if you can see this, but I got these little, I don't know what these are. That might be polyglaze that dried on there. I don't think that's part of the stencil. I thought I scrubbed it really well, but I think it'll be okay. I don't know why my throat gets so dry on these live streams. I have water nearby, so maybe a few minutes into this need a drink of water. I am going to put some tape on the back of that because it was sticking, or it was slipping. Okay. So I'm just going to position this. You can position it however you want, but I'm just going to keep it simple. And we'll just tape that down. And I'll tape the bottom too. Alright. And then I'm just using this little spackle blade. It's just plastic, flexible. You can get them at the craft stores. Boy, they're in multiple sections at my local craft store. They're where the paints are, they're where the watercolors are, the artist brushes, they're everywhere. You can use them for a lot of different things. And then this is the fuse gel, and I have just a piece of like a cling wrap. What is that called? Press and seal. It just helps keep it from drying out. And then you're just going to take a little bit. Now, you don't need a lot. Just you want a really thin layer. All you need is a little bit for the foil to adhere to. It doesn't need to be a glob. And then you just smear it on. Now you're not going to have perfectly smooth coating. You know, it's going to have little dips, little lines, and that's okay. It just actually gives the finished effect a little more texture. And so just thin that out, spread it out. A little bit goes a long way on this. That might be just a little bit more. You can always put the leftover back in the container. Okay. And then I'm just kind of evening it out, and then we'll just put the rest away. And I am going to seal that up because we are done with that for tonight. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this in my soapy water. But first, looking for my paper towels. Just going to grab a paper towel and wipe off the excess. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and lift this carefully. And I'm going to get that into the soapy water. Alright. Hang on, I got this all over my fingers. And then this is the panel that you do need to let dry. Just carefully lift that off. So that's what you're left with. When it dries, it's going to dry clear, and I have a sample right there. That's dry. I did that the other day. And once it's dry, you can leave it, like I think I did this 2 days ago, but you can leave it till you're ready to foil it. And you can see the little lines and the crevices. That's okay. It's going to add to the character. So I'm going to set this aside to dry. And I will use that another day. And I'm going to clean this up. And we'll just set this aside. And the next thing I want to do is my stamping. So let's bring in some supplies here, and then we'll talk about them. If you've watched me recently, you've seen this stamp set. It's one of my first stamp sets. I use it all the time. I love it. And I think I've mentioned before that when you buy the stamps, they're this color, and the more you use them, depending on the inks, they get stained. So I've used this quite a bit. And I do have the coordinating dies that go with it. So we're going to stamp a butterfly, and we're going to make Thinking of You cards. We're going to make 2 because remember I said we're going to make a card with the negative piece of foil. So we're going to stamp Thinking of You twice, and we will do Let's do, actually we just need Thinking of You once, and I think I might do 2 butterflies. Let me get another piece of cardstock. Let me do this. This is a panel that I cut, but that's okay. I'm going to forfeit it because I want 2 butterflies, and somehow I'm going to squeak that in there. Just like that. We'll see if that works. Get some of this out of the way. Alright, and I'm going to do some heat embossing. So let's go ahead and just powder up our paper. This is just anti-static powder. And that just removes all the oils from the paper, so the embossing powder will stick to the ink and not all over the piece of cardstock. And let's see, first I'm going to stamp it with black onyx. We're going to do both the butterfly and the Thinking of You, both at the same time. So this ink is black onyx from Gina K. I'm going to go ahead and put that down. Be sure to say hello if you're in the chat. I see you out there. Or if you're not comfortable doing that, that's okay. I still see you and I'm glad you're here. So I did not get a very good stamp on that butterfly, so I want to make sure I press real hard in the middle there. That looks good. Gonna leave the stamps right where they are because I want to stamp them again with the clear embossing ink here in a second. So I'm going to get that black ink off. Just give it a little pat to get it dry. Get my powder ready. I got my catch paper. And then we're going to go over it again with Simon Says Stamp Clear Embossing and Watermark ink. Okay. This is a very sticky, dry, or slow drying ink, and that's what you want the powder, the embossing powder, to stick to, because we're going to color this butterfly. Okay, and I think that's all we'll do. So then we're going to take our clear embossing powder, and this is just from Ranger is the brand. I picked it up at Michael's. I've had it for a long time, probably 2 years. It lasts a long time because you just funnel the leftover right back into the container. Just like that. And we're going to cover it while we heat emboss, but we are going to come back and use this again. But right now I want to heat emboss these images. So I have my generic heating tool. I'm going to turn it on here for about 15 seconds, heat it up, and then we'll melt some powder. This is my favorite thing. This is what got me into card making. I saw the powder being melted and turning shiny right before the eyes. I just thought it was the coolest thing. Look at that. I don't ever get tired of seeing that. Just go all over it till you don't see any opacity. Okay. And there's your shiny butterfly and your shiny image. We're going to die cut those out in a minute, but I want to see if I can bring this back in. I want to see if I can, let's see, we are done with the Thinking of You. Let me just wipe that, take that up. And where's my stamp set? Here it is. The stamp is real small, so I want to put it away. And then if I, oh, nope, I need to move him over just a little bit. Let me just make sure he's dry, because we're going to die cut all of this. So let's just get him right about there. Alright, and pick him up. And I'm going to tape this down just because the paper warped a little bit just from heating it. So I'm just going to make sure it stays put in case I have to stamp it twice. Bringing in the black onyx again. Well, we enjoyed a couple nice cool days here in Central Ohio, but the heat got cranked back up today, the humidity. But I have a fan running in my room, 2 fans actually, and I have them on quiet, so hopefully you don't hear that in the background. So it feels comfortable in here where I don't need to put my hair up. Although, I don't know if you can't see this, but at the bottom of my shirt I have my hair clip. Just in case. Just in case things get a little askew in here and I need to put the hair up. Okay, so going in with the embossing ink now. Right over the butterfly. Okay. And we are done with him, so let's just clean it. Let's go ahead and get the powder on here. Okay, just dump it on. Give it a couple taps to get the excess off. And this is just a piece of copy paper. You can use coffee filters, copy paper, piece of scrap paper. Hi, Ashley. Woman of the world, traveling. My niece is a keynote speaker for school nutrition, and she is traveling, I believe, right now in the southern states, educating a lot of people in her industry. And they love her. And of course they would. She's really good at what she does. Alright, so we got one more butterfly to heat and emboss. So let's go ahead and get that done. Gonna make some noise. Okay, and now we have both butterflies nice and shiny in our greeting. I already have another greeting identical to this that I did ahead of time. So, okay, so we're done with the stamping and embossing. So let me go ahead and just get this on the ground out of my way. And then what I want to do next, I have powder everywhere. Let me just wipe this down. We're going to color the butterflies real fast. I'm not a great colorist, but we are going to add some color. And I need to spray my desk down. I'm just going to spray it down with some rubbing alcohol because this powder is like sand. And that's going to, I don't know, it just gets everywhere. It's inevitable. Okay. All right, so let's bring these back in. And for the butterflies, I'm only going to use 2 colors. Whoops, I'm going to make these like monarch butterflies, just orange and yellow. And I think that'll go with the watercolor foiling that we're going to do. And I'm really glad that you joined, Ashley, because we're going to be doing some foiling here in a second. And all right, so what I want to do is I'm just going to add some orange, and I think you can see that. Let me just zoom in and make sure I'm in camera shot. And this is just, this is an alcohol ink dual tip marker, and I probably picked it up at Michael's. I've had them for quite some time. They have 2 different tips. and I like the finer tip. But this, if you're interested, the color number name is YR23. So we're gonna get some YR23 on here, and I am not worried about being perfect. I'm just getting color. I just want color on it. And I can leave some white space, although this is like a cream colored cardstock, but we don't need to get all fancy on this. I think the other one we'll just do it the opposite. We'll do the orange in the middle, and then we'll do yellow in the outer parts. And then the yellow is Y37. Oops, I don't want the big fat tip. Let's go this side. And probably not exactly the markings of a monarch, but it's close enough. And the nice thing with the heat embossing that we did is it really just helps you stay in the lines, and it resists the ink. So if you do go outside the lines, the embossed parts do not take the ink. So you could just wipe it down with a paper towel, which I'm going to do when we're done, just in case there is any marker on top of the black embossed sections. I'll just wipe it off to make sure that they remain nice and shiny. I didn't see this little tiny section here that's okay. So there, just in a matter of seconds, you have 2 butterflies. And let's just take a paper towel. I don't think I have too much ink, but I'll just wipe any of the ink off that's sitting on top, and I really don't see any. So that's good. Okay, so we have our butterflies and we have our greeting. Let's do our foiling next, and then we'll do the die cutting last. So, all right, so let's go ahead and bring in our panel. And remember, this is just plain cardstock, and we used the fused foiling gel over a stencil, and we let it dry. Okay, so that's where we are. And now we're going to foil. So for that, I'm going to bring back in the foiling. Okay, this is the amber watercolor foil. And let me see if I have a piece of all these scraps. Let me just cut a new piece. It's very thin, so you think you have one piece, but you actually have 2 sheets. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just lay this down, and I'm just going to cut a piece that's this size. Actually, before I do that, let's go ahead and bring the foiling machine here, because I have to heat it up. So this is the GinaKDesigns Fuse Foiling System. I'm going to pan out just a little bit. And let me go ahead and get it plugged in and heat it up. All right, let's see here. Turn it on back here. And for the foiling setting, you want it on 3, and that light will blink. This light isn't blinking, it's just reflection, but when it's ready to go, it'll turn green, and it doesn't take long. It just takes a few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. So we'll go ahead and cut the foil in the meantime. And I'm just taking a regular pair of scissors and cutting that piece of foil. And then, remember at the beginning of the video, I said we're going to go ahead and foil this, and then we're going to be left with a negative piece, and we're going to foil the negative piece onto a piece of polyglaze cardstock. So I'll show you that. All right, so with this machine, you get a carrier sheet, and it's just, I don't know what kind of plastic this is. I don't know, but you can use parchment paper, you can use a piece of copy paper, but this really distributes the heat of the machine evenly and gets a nice foil. So that's what that's all about. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take a microfiber towel and I'm going to just wipe any dust off of my foil and my cardstock, just so everything adheres. And then before you foil, this is how you lay it down. You have your design up and your foil shiny side up. And then you're going to put it in your carrier sheet, just like that. And I always just turn it over just to make sure everything's covered. So that looks good. And our machine is ready. So I'm going to pull this down a little bit. It's a slow process, but you just feed it through the folded edge first. So this is the open edge, and just let it go. Don't hurry it along, or else it can buckle and it won't look good. And I will go ahead, while we have the machine out, get a piece of polyglaze out. So this is Gina K's white polyglaze sheets, and they're just cardstock that are treated with polyglaze. And I've already cut a panel, but one side, it might be hard to see on camera, but one side is kind of flat and the other side does have a little sheen to it. That's the polyglaze. So this is the polyglaze that will help the foil adhere once it goes through this machine. So we'll use that for the negative piece. So this has gone through, and it is just a little bit warm, so you do want it to cool off. It only takes a second or two, so I'm just going to wave it off camera. I'm glad you're here. Ashley, you have a crown and a number 1. Mike, you used to have a crown next to your name, but it's not there anymore. And I don't know why, because you're here every week, faithful, letting me know all my sound and everything's good. Okay, so let's do the reveal. And there we go. So that is the watercolor, amber watercolor foil. And I normally don't use black cardstock for my panels, but I thought black would really help this to stand out. And yes, there's a little imperfections. It's fine. It's all good. It kind of just adds to it. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm making a mess here. I was very organized and now I'm not so much organized. So we'll see how the rest of this video goes. So here's my polyglaze shiny side up, and I'm going to lay the negative. I'm just going to lay it on there. You can get that in my carrier sheet. Isn't this cool? I'm kind of new to this. I'm not really, I hope I'm doing it right. One of those kind of things, but I'm just doing it. What could go wrong? So I just have it in there. We're going to cut that down so it doesn't have to be perfect. So yeah, I love this. So then we're going to feed this through. And this is a good way, instead of throwing the negative piece away, just use it. Use up all your stuff, Pay money for this. You want to use as much of it as you can. And when I do the peel and reveal on this, you'll see it really looks cool. And I'm going to make a really cool panel from this negative piece. So I'll do I'll do 2 finished cards by the end of this video, by the end of this live stream. Okay, so we are done foiling. Let me just put this away. Unplug it so it's out of my way. Okay. And then we'll just let that panel cool for a second. It's already cool. It's amazing how fast this cools off. And now all of that negative space just foiled on here. And this is our sheet. It's pretty much spent, but it's real shiny. And the imperfections are going to hide once we die cut this, because I'm going to use a postage grid die, and And this will look really cool. Okay, so this I'm going to toss. I'm not going to save that. We've used pretty much all of that. Okay, so we have both panels, okay? We have the positive piece and the negative. That's very shiny. And now we're going to do some die cutting. So let's bring, where's my die cutting machine? We got to bring that baby in here. What did I do with it? Oh, it's right over here. Hang on. Okay. All right. So let's start with the butterfly and the sentiment. Let's start with this. Uh-oh, Mike has a crown and a number 2 now. I don't know how that system works. Okay, so we have our Sizzix Big Shot die cutting and embossing machine. The sandwich layer that is just recommended by the manufacturer. It came with these 2 pieces and the top plate. And then I have since added this magic mat. I just like it. It's a nice cutting mat. You can wash these. The white lines are just pieces of cardstock that get cut into it. But you can scrub it and wash it, and then you can take that heat tool that I used for the heat embossing and heat it up, and it'll flatten out. Like sometimes they bow, but mine stays pretty flat. Some people don't like these, but I really like mine. I've had good luck with it. And then I have a metal shim that just kind of adds another little layer, gives it a little bit more pressure. Okay, so we need our coordinating dies that go with this stamp set, and that is the die for the Thinking of You, and then of course that's the butterfly. So let's see. I do need to line this up, and I'm going to try not to get my head in the way. So I'm just looking here, and basically the antennas. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is going to be, you'll see how I put it up on the card. It'll be a little obscured, so you won't see any imperfections. At least that's my plan. And I'm not going to die cut this at the same time because the greeting, I like to do those separate just so it doesn't shift, and then I don't want to have to stamp it and do that all over again. Alright, so there is the first butterfly. He's all shiny and ready to fly. And then we will do the other one. Make sure you can see what I'm doing and my head's not in the way. I'm kind of doing it off to the side so I'm not right underneath my camera. We'll go down here. Okay. And I'm also going to show you 2 ways to pop these cards, the panels up. Like one, we'll be using foam tape, but if you don't have foam tape, I'll show you another trick, another tip that uses up your scraps. All right, there's our second butterfly. Whoops, there's our second butterfly. And then we just have the greeting left. Don't tear it, Annette. Okay. What do you guys think of this so far? Kind of crazy, huh? Whoever thought that I would be making cards on YouTube? Yikes. If you're watching it now or later, boy, I'd appreciate if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and you know what? Share this video around. There's a lot of people, like I just came across it by happenstance. I've never made cards, and all of a sudden I saw a card video, and here I am. And you know, there might be somebody looking for a hobby, or you know, an elderly person that just needs something nice and simple to watch, or maybe they need a hobby or want something to do and they just don't even know where to begin. Maybe this might be of interest. You just never know. So share it around. And there's the Thinking of You. I really like that font, and it's just so delicate. Okay. I got to get these dies put away before they accidentally get thrown away. We don't want to do that. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the panels. So for the panels, let's just set the butterflies and the Thinking of You there. For the panel, let's see, for this black one, I'm going to use Master Layouts 2. I've used this a lot. I use this a lot for my panels. Yeah, card making can be involved. There's a lot of videos that are for clean and simple cards, and I love those too. So, but I prefer to make clean and simple. This is a challenge for me, actually, especially doing it live, and I've not really practiced a lot of these. I haven't made a sample, but so to speak. I did one for the thumbnail, but it was kind of put together real fast. But anyway, Master Layouts 2, they're a set of dies that can cut out different shapes, banners for greetings, but I'm using it to do the panel and the matte layer for card number 1. So this is card number 1. So let's go ahead and get that up there. And you can crop it wherever you want, but I'm just gonna try to do it as even, let me put it this way, as even as possible. Get that one sunflower in the middle and get it going a little straight. And I am going to tape it down just so it doesn't shift. Run that through. I think I'm going to throw this out here. My brother's going to give a big online eye roll, but I'm trying to grow my channel. I'm almost at 500 subscribers, but if I could get to 1,000, I think I can talk him into doing a card, making a card on. I don't know if it could be live, because I don't know if he can make it down here on a Wednesday night, but it might be a recorded video. But I'm going to get my brother Mike to make a card if I can reach 1,000. So tell everybody to subscribe. Oh, Mike, what do you think of that? You know, I'm a believer of speaking it into existence, right? So I shall say, so shall it be. There you go. I think it would be fun. You're here every week, Mike. You're a pro. You've got this down. I'm not taping this down because there's no design I need to worry about, although I might have to tape it down because it's a little warped. Let's see if I can, there we go, catch it. There we go. My eye roll. Okay, so this is the other die in that set, and this will do the shadow layer for this card. Alright, just makes it look finished, in my opinion. Alright, so let's put Master Layouts 2 away. We're done with that. And then I'm going to set this aside. We have this panel left to do. And for that one, I'm going to use another die set, Master Layouts 14. We're going to use the postage die here. I love this die. It's one of my favorites. And there is, let's see, let's go ahead and get this cut. And it really doesn't matter which way you put this on, but I'm going to put it on about like that. Because I'm making a card for this one is going to be a landscape. It's going to go this way on the card, not that way. So let's go ahead and make it like that. Okay. And I think I can just, again, run it through without taping it. All right. And then there's the postage stamp. Now, this has a bunch of little holes, and I have to hold it up to the light. Some of the holes didn't poke through, but I'm just taking a little pick tool, and you will have to go through and just do that. It doesn't take long, but you know, if this was a recorded video, I would be editing this part out. But you guys that are watching live are lucky to see this would be a behind the scenes section of the video, because, you know, it's poking holes through paper. It's, you know, but it does need to be done. Sometimes you get lucky with these dies and all those little holes just come falling right out, but that didn't happen tonight, of course. Some of them did, but majority did not. And then I just hold it up to the light, and I got them all. And the fun part is the little dots cleanup. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. I think, nope, we're not done. Are we done? I don't think we are, but let me just double check something here. I think we're done. Yep, we'll clean this later. Okay, hopefully we're done with the die cutting machine and I don't have to bring that back out. All right, so let's bring this back in. Now, I've already pre-cut a couple more panels because I'm using, for my card base, I'm using some craft cardstock. And this is thinner than cardstock I would normally use for a base. This might be, don't even think it's 65 pound. It's very thin and flimsy and it could curl and bend. So when that's the case, I always like to cut another panel and matte layer. So this is the same die that I used to cut this panel, and you can see there's a stitched edge around it. So I'm just going to put that inside, and it'll make it nice. You can write your message, and it'll give it a little bit of sturdiness. So let's go ahead and glue that. Oh man, it's starting to get hot in the craft room. Let's see, I did not want to put the glue there. I picked up the wrong panel. Hang on. You just wipe that off. So you want to put the glue on the smaller panel. And for this, I just put it around the edges. Just the perimeter, and then I just kind of eyeball it to make sure it's even all the way around. Okay. Then you can glue this to the inside. Make sure it's going the right way. And I just kind of center it in there. And then this will get glued on here, and then that'll make it nice and sturdy. Now the question is, I have this other piece that came, you know, the leftover from when we cut this. I could put it on here. No, I don't think I'm going to. It's just too much. I think it's just, I actually am just going to put this on here. I think it'll look nicer if I just keep it simple. There's enough foil on here. All right, so let's put this on its matte layer. Now I can see there's just a little pieces of cardstock, like little hair-like pieces, just from the cutting machine. All right, and then this is going to get adhered onto here. These cards are going to come together quickly now. We're almost done. Thank you all for watching and hanging in. Appreciate it. So, and already it's just more, has more sturdiness. Okay, and so we have a butterfly and a greeting. So what I want to do, I'm going to do this for both of them, but I absolutely love doing this technique. With the butterfly, I'm just using the edge of this bone folder, and it has a wide but rolled edge to it, and I'm just going to put it right smack in the middle of the butterfly's body and bring up the wings and just crease it. Okay, so it has a little bit of a ledge, and we're going to put some glue there, and we're just going to glue him right about there, and we're going to put that stone out on it, and then we'll take the greeting and let's see, I think I'm going to, I actually cut a extra layer of the shadow of the, with the die. I just cut it out of plain cardstock because I wanted to layer this up a little bit. So I'm just going to put glue, come on the shadow layer or the extra layer, and just put that thinking of you right on top. And they're so easy to line up. Just get it on there and just kind of cinch the edges and it'll be lined up. Easy peasy. Alright, and then this will get glued. And see, I used scraps on this. See? Just scrap cardstock. And then this butterfly wings will come up. And I'm going to put the thinking of you right there. That looks straight. And that is number one. And it's so cool because the butterfly's wings are lifted up. Isn't that cool? And it flattens down to put it in the envelope. So no extra postage needed. I thought that's really pretty. What do you guys think? That's card number one. And then card number two, pretty much very similar, but it's going to have a little bit of a different effect because of the postage. But again, the base is the same technique. I cut the panel and the shadow layer. I did the shadow layer in the same as the one that's going to be on the front. So this is going to be a little bit more bright and sunny, since this one has a little bit more darkness to it. So I was going to pop this up with foam tape, but I decided not to. I just glued it flat, but you could pop it up with foam tape. But I wanted to show you, if you don't have foam tape, you can use scrap cardstock. And I did this ahead of time because this was a little tedious. Thanks. I like card number one. But what this is I just kind of roughly measured these squares and just cut squares of scrap cardstock. And each one is 3 layers thick. So I just glued 3 pieces together, and I have a piece for each section, and you won't see them from the other side, but I am going to go ahead and glue these on, and this will give it a little bit of a lift from the matte layer. So we'll just get those glued on. But that's a nice way to use up cardstock. If you're a scrapbooker or make cards or anything, you have scraps. And the foam tape, I think I have it cut this way. The foam tape can be expensive. If you don't have it, you don't have to go buy everything. Bring it in a little closer. Just look around and see what you have and put things together that you wouldn't even think of using. Or, there's a lot of videos out there how to use up card scraps. I see 3 holes that didn't get poked through. Man, I thought I had them all. I got them now. But yep, and it's like with the stamps. I've had this stamp set, it's called Vintage Summer, if I didn't say it earlier, from GinaKDesigns. I've had it for a couple years, but it is literally my go-to stamp set. I use it a lot. and I love it. It's very pretty. I love the butterflies. There's a balloon, a bicycle, a hot air balloon, a bicycle, a butterfly, and a bird. And they're just all so pretty. And if you stamp them in brown ink or a light brown or a light gray, they really look vintage. I stamped mine today in black, but so this this is just one way to add some dimension to the back of your panel without using foam tape. All right, and then we'll go ahead and put some glue on each square. All right, and then we will just center it on the panel, just like that. Give that a minute. This, thinking of you, I've already added my extra layer at the bottom, or being on the underside of it. And then we'll go ahead and put this down. Alright. I got that like that. And then we got another butterfly here. Again, we're just using the bone folder, creasing up the wings. And then we will add some glue. I think we'll put this guy going this way, just to make it a little different. And then let's add some glue to the sentiment. This glue that I'm using is Gina K Connect glue, and it dries fairly quickly. I mean, enough that you can play around with it already, and I'm going to bring my reverse tweezers this way so I can place this right about like that. I'm going to hold it down just a second so that glue adheres. And then that is the second card. I can't believe we made 2 cards tonight. I was really only planning on one, but here we are. I did want to use up that negative piece. So there's the original, and then this is the second card with the negative piece. It has a little bit more shine, but that watercolor foil, let me see if I can get it. It just has really cool tones of like amber and gold and yellow. Really pretty. Which one's your favorite? Number 1 or number 2? Let me know in the comments. 1 or 2. All right. That is the finished card project for tonight. We did 2 beautiful foiled cards. I want to thank you all for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you being here, and be sure to like and subscribe. Share this video around. Like I said, somebody out there wants to see a video that maybe they're looking for a hobby or they need something to do that's fairly inexpensive hobby. It can get expensive, but if you just have a few items, you can make beautiful, beautiful cards. And all right, I want to thank you for joining again. Be sure to hit the notification button, and if you subscribe, hit the notification button so you don't miss the next videos. I put a video up every Sunday at 1 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. we go live, and those times are Eastern. So I want to wish you all a good evening, and until next time, have a great day.